Dead soil doesn't need chemicals to come back to life. Forget pricey fertilizers. Nature gave us plants that can heal the ground, feed pollinators, and even land on your dinner plate. Ancient farmers already knew their power. Romans, indigenous growers, and countless others used these plants to crack open hard soil, lift hidden nutrients, and leave the earth richer for the next crop. That wisdom faded, but it's time to bring it back. Today, at Stellar Eureka, we reveal the top 10 plants to revive dead soil, natural powerhouses that rebuild fertility and unlock nutrients. Stick around, because number 1 is worth more than gold to your garden. Buckwheat looks like wheat, cooks like wheat, and even has wheat in its name. Yet it isn't wheat at all. A cousin of rhubarb, it's gluten-free and has fed humans for thousands of years. Its story began in Yunnan, China around 6000 BC before traveling through Tibet, Central Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. By the 15th century, it reached European tables, while Greek monks brought it to Russia as grechka. In time, it spread to North America and India's religious traditions. Buckwheat may look modest, but it's one of the best allies a gardener can have. This fast grower shoots from seed to flower in just 30 days, rising no more than 2 feet with red stems, arrow-shaped leaves, and clusters of nectar-rich blooms that attract bees and hoverflies. Its seeds resemble beech nuts, hence the name buckwheat. But what truly makes it special is how it heals the soil. Its dense canopy blocks sunlight, smothering weeds before they take hold. Once tilled under, its hollow stems and roots break down quickly, adding rich organic matter that improves soil texture and water retention. Even more, buckwheat releases natural compounds that suppress weed seeds, giving future crops a clean start. Farmers and gardeners use it as a cover crop to revive depleted soil, while beekeepers treasure its flowers for dark, flavorful honey. Buckwheat may heal the soil with speed, but the next plant works slowly, reaching deep into the earth with roots that hide their own secret power. A name born from Latin, lupines means wolf-like. Once thought to ravage the land, yet today we know the lupine as a flower that heals the soil as much as it pleases the eye. Tall spikes of blue, pink, or white blossoms make it a favorite in gardens, but this plant is far more than a pretty face. With over 300 species spread across the Americas, North Africa, and the Mediterranean, lupines have lived alongside people for thousands of years. Farmers of the Andes ate their beans 6,000 years ago, while Roman settlers carried them across Europe as both food and crop helpers. Even today, salted lupin seeds are sold as snacks in Middle Eastern markets. Yet in the garden, most of what we see are modern hybrids bred for color and height, some soaring over 6 feet tall. What sets lupines apart is not just above the ground, but beneath it. Their roots host tiny bacteria that can pull nitrogen straight from the air and transform it into plant-ready food. This means lupines fertilize the earth naturally, restoring nutrients without chemical input. Their long taproots dig deep into hard compacted soil, cracking it open and letting in air and water. In poor, sandy, or acidic ground where other plants fail, lupines thrive and leave the soil richer for those that follow. Farmers often cut the plants down after flowering and let the foliage decompose right on the surface, creating a mulch that adds organic matter back to the land. Whether grown as green manure, forage, or simply left to reseed, lupines serve as builders of fertility, nature's quiet soil healers, working season after season beneath their brilliant towers of blooms. Lupines rise tall in bursts of color, yet the next ally hugs the ground, quiet, unassuming, and quietly feeding the soil's strength from below. A plant that once fed whole nations without a single factory, clover. From the rolling hills of Spain, where it was first domesticated around the year 1000, this humble green spread across Europe, carrying with it the power to restore land. By the 17th century, when European soils were starving from over-farming, clover became a quiet hero. Its sweet-smelling fields not only colored the countryside, but also kept people fed by enriching the ground for future harvests. In fact, before chemical fertilizers were invented, clover was as vital to farming as coal was to industry. The reason clover is so powerful lies in its roots. Each root forms a partnership with special bacteria that can capture nitrogen straight from the air. That nitrogen is turned into natural fertilizer, feeding the soil and every crop that follows. Unlike shallow grasses, clover's roots drive deep, breaking up compacted earth, allowing air and water to move freely underground. This improves soil structure, making it looser, healthier, and more resistant to erosion. Its dense mat of leaves shields the surface from pounding rain and harsh wind, while underground, the tangled roots hold particles together like a living net. Over time, as clover dies back, it adds rich organic matter, further boosting soil fertility. The result is ground that is stronger, moister, and more alive, an ideal base for crops or even backyard gardens. Today, clover is returning in a new role. Farmers plant it to cut fertilizer use, homeowners add microclover to lawns for greener, softer turf, and bees still find endless nectar among its blooms. 1,000 years on, this small trifoliate plant continues its ancient work, feeding the earth one root at a time. After clover works quietly at the soil surface, the next plant towers above it, pulling hidden riches from far below. They call it the queen of the forages, not for beauty alone, but for power. Alfalfa is one of the oldest domesticated crops on Earth, stretching back thousands of years. Once carried across Persia and into Europe, it became a trusted food for horses and cattle, fueling armies and trade routes alike. Today, it covers over 20 million acres across the United States, ranking as the fourth largest crop after corn, soybeans, and wheat. Standing 3 feet tall above ground, its roots can plunge more than 15 feet into the earth. That secret world underground is what gives alfalfa its crown. Alfalfa's deep root system is more than an anchor. It's a living engine for the soil. Those roots burrow down, breaking apart hard, compacted ground and letting air and water move freely. At the same time, alfalfa forms a partnership with soil bacteria, pulling nitrogen straight from the air and turning it into natural fertilizer. That nitrogen doesn't just feed alfalfa itself, it lingers in the soil, nourishing crops that follow. However, a cornfield planted after alfalfa often needs little or no synthetic nitrogen for years. Its highly branched roots create thousands of tiny channels underground, pathways for water to seep in and stay, protecting the soil from drought. And when storms come, the dense roots lock particles in place, keeping precious topsoil from washing away. Even in winter, its cover shields bare ground from raindrop blast and freezing winds. Alfalfa feeds the soil with vigor, but a deeper digger waits, tapping reserves few others can touch. Did you know that a plant often called a weed is actually a hidden hero in your garden? This is comfrey, sometimes nicknamed the gardener's treasure. Native to Europe and Asia, this hardy perennial has been helping farmers and gardeners for centuries. Its tall stalks, lush green leaves, and dangling white or pink-purple flowers make it a striking plant. But the real magic happens below the surface, where its deep roots stretch far into the soil, digging up nutrients other plants can't reach. The most famous variety, Russian Comfrey Bocking 14, was carefully developed in the 1950s to be sterile so it doesn't spread uncontrollably, perfect for keeping a tidy garden while still reaping all its benefits. Comfrey is a dynamic accumulator, which means it gathers vital nutrients from deep underground and returns them to the topsoil. Its roots act like natural drills, loosening compacted earth and creating tiny pathways for air and water. When the leaves grow, die back, or are chopped and used as mulch, they feed the soil with potassium, nitrogen, and other essential nutrients. Gardeners often drop chopped leaves around fruit trees, vegetables, or shrubs, creating a living blanket that nourishes plants while protecting the soil. Comfrey leaves also speed up composting, turning ordinary waste into rich, fertile soil faster than most plants. Over time, this constant recycling of nutrients improves soil structure, water retention, and overall fertility, making future crops stronger and more resilient. From feeding animals to enriching compost, this quiet worker turns gardens into self-sustaining havens. Meanwhile, beneath the soil, a white spear splits the ground, clearing space for life to follow. Daikon radish, sometimes called Japanese radish or muli, is more than just a crunchy vegetable. What's truly remarkable is how it improves the soil. Its long taproot drills deep channels, letting water sink in and air reach the roots of future plants. When the radish dies back or is chopped off, it leaves behind rich organic matter that slowly mixes into the earth. Nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which had been trapped deep underground, are brought to the surface where other plants can use them. These buried roots even create perfect pockets for seeds to sprout. Over time, the soil becomes softer, wetter, and more alive with tiny microbes that help plants grow. Farmers call this process nutrient cycling, and it's a natural way to make soil stronger without chemicals. But that's not all. Daikon radish also helps stop weeds from taking over by shading the ground and using up space and nutrients. Even when mixed with other cover crops, it keeps the soil healthy and ready for the next planting. This fast-growing plant can sprout in just 5 days and push its roots down 12 to 20 inches into clay or compacted soil, breaking it apart like nature's bulldozer. Plus, farmers and gardeners have used Daikon radish for centuries to help soil breathe and grow stronger. Its story stretches back to Asia, where it was valued not just for food, but for keeping fields healthy. Today, savvy gardeners and farmers alike rely on Daikon radish as a quiet helper that nourishes the earth, proving that sometimes the most ordinary-looking plants can be extraordinary underground. Next come the sunflowers, ablaze with golden faces, yet their real gift lies hidden, drawing out toxins and healing the soil beneath. Towering up to 10 feet tall, sunflowers are more than bright ornaments of summer. Beneath the soil, their roots act like drills, breaking hard ground and pulling nutrients up where other plants can use them. The current total market is valued at $32.1 billion in 2025 and expected to reach $39.4 billion by 2030. But sunflowers aren't just big business, they're tiny underground superheroes too. Their roots dive deep into the soil, pulling up hidden water and nutrients that most plants can't reach. These long taproots act like elevators, bringing treasure from deep down to feed other plants. As the roots grow, they naturally loosen hard soil, letting air, water, and future crop roots move freely. Not only this, sunflowers also hold the soil together, preventing erosion, and when their roots and stalks break down, they add rich organic matter that feeds helpful microbes. Over time, the soil becomes softer, wetter, and alive, making everything planted afterward grow stronger. But sunflowers do more than fix the dirt. They play a part in balancing the garden ecosystem. Their height shades out weeds and protects tiny plants from harsh sun and wind. Bees, pollinators, and other insects love their bright flowers, which helps the whole ecosystem stay healthy. Even wildlife like deer and game birds find shelter among sunflower rows, making the field a busy, balanced place. But where did this story begin? Sunflowers have been helping farmers for centuries. Native to North America, they were first cultivated by indigenous people for food, oil, and even medicine. Over time, farmers discovered their incredible soil-saving powers and began planting them as cover crops to improve field conditions naturally. While sunflowers stand tall, softening soil and lifting nutrients for future crops, another ally stays close to the ground, concealing a powerful secret for rebuilding fertility. The hairy vetch can secretly feed the soil while hiding under the green cover of fields. This scraggly-looking plant is a nitrogen powerhouse. Its roots work like tiny chefs, pulling nitrogen from the air and locking it into the soil for the next crop to feast on. When hairy vetch grows thick and leafy in the spring, It acts like a living blanket, keeping weeds away and holding soil in place. As it dies back or is left on the surface, it turns into a soft, rich mulch. This mulch keeps moisture in, warms the soil, and slowly releases nutrients, making it perfect for corn, wheat, or vegetables planted afterward. On top of that, its vigorous growth also helps the soil breathe, improving tilth and allowing roots from future crops to spread easily. Research shows that crops planted after hairy vetch often resist disease better and keep their leaves healthy longer, all thanks to the hidden magic of this green helper. Hairy vetch thrives in cool, well-drained soils. Some special varieties like Madison survive harsh winters, while others, such as Purple Bounty, spring up early for maximum growth. Farmers often see better results when using a locally grown seed because the plants adapt to their environment over years. Cultivated since the Neolithic period, hairy vetch traveled from the Mediterranean to Rome, where writers like Pliny the Elder noted its soil-boosting powers and use as fodder. By the 16th century, it reached the New World, adapting perfectly to American fields. Through centuries, hairy vetch has quietly helped humans grow food while feeding the soil itself, proving that sometimes the best helpers work underground. Much like vetch, another heir in the soil story carries echoes of courts, kitchens, and ingenious tricks for keeping the land alive. In medieval Europe, courts and monasteries hired a special worker called a mustardarius just to grow and make mustard. But mustard wasn't just for flavor, it was a soil saver too. Its deep roots, sometimes reaching 3 feet or more, burrow through compacted earth like underground tunnels. These roots pull water and nutrients from deep below and leave channels for future plants to spread their roots easily. As the mustard grows, its thick leaves act like a living blanket, stopping weeds from sneaking in and holding the soil tight during wind or rain. When chopped and mixed into the soil while still green, mustard becomes rich green manure, adding organic matter that feeds microbes, loosens clay, and improves drainage. Most nematodes in the soil are harmless, but a troublesome few attack plant roots, stems, and even flowers. Mustard makes it harder for those pests to survive, earning its place as a natural soil guardian. Over time, fields that once felt hard and dry can turn soft and fertile, ready for vegetables, herbs, or flowers. And mustard's power doesn't stop there. It can even help clean polluted soils, pulling toxins like heavy metals from the ground through a process called photoremediation. The real power of mustard is how quickly it works, maturing in 80 to 95 days, and its taproots can search for water up to 5 feet below the surface in dry conditions. Its leaves contain natural compounds that repel pests like aphids and cabbage worms, offering extra protection without chemicals. Mustard greens trace their roots to ancient cultivation in Asia, especially India and China, where they were prized both as food and medicine. By Roman times, they had spread across Europe, valued not only for their pungent flavor, but also for their ability to enrich the soil. Centuries later, they crossed into the Americas, where farmers adopted them as both a crop and a natural soil protector. From Asian kitchens to Roman gardens and American fields, mustard has quietly shaped agriculture for thousands of years. Last on our list, a humble hero that has fueled fields and livestock for centuries, leaving its legacy from Europe's meadows to distant pastures. Chicory has been helping people and animals for hundreds of years. Originally from the Mediterranean area, it was grown for food, coffee substitutes, herbal medicines, and summer forage. By the 19th century, chicory made its way to Australia, where farmers developed special varieties like Puna and Grouse to produce more digestible and long-lasting forage. From Roman gardens to modern pastures, the plant has quietly played an important role in feeding livestock and, more importantly, improving soil. Beneath its beautiful pale blue flowers lies chicory's real superpower. Its long taproot plunges deep into the earth, breaking up hard, compacted soil like a tiny natural plow. These roots pull up water and nutrients from far below, creating tunnels that help new crops grow strong and drink deeply. As the plant spreads, its leaves cover the soil, holding in moisture, shading out weeds, and keeping the earth soft. When chopped or mixed into the soil, chicory adds organic matter that feeds microbes, loosens clay, and improves drainage. Even stubborn soils that are wet or hard can become fertile and rich. Its roots reduce erosion on slopes, and its presence helps neighboring plants thrive. For sheep and lambs, chicory provides high-protein food while naturally reducing worm problems thanks to its special properties. Season after season, chicory works quietly above and below ground, feeding livestock, nourishing pollinators, and strengthening soil. A fitting final ally in our list of plants that prove dirt can be brought back to life. From mustard's natural pest-fighting power to chicory's deep burrowing roots, from daikon's underground bulldozing to the sunflower's nutrient cycling, these plants prove that soil isn't just dirt, it's alive and it can be healed. Which of these soil savers would you trust to bring new life to your garden? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who could use healthier soil. This is Stellar Eureka, signing off.